Mother's Day for all you mothers, and for all you not mothers that may be wanting to be mothers, might want to think twice. Ask some of these mothers who've been around the cup to the handle. You know, what a blessing for mothers that have had children. That's how you become a mother. Other, you're just a female. But even the greater blessing is the child that has a mother, because I've heard it mentioned many times that there's no love any closer to God than the love of a mother. And I don't believe you'll find any disagreement with that. But it's a, you see, you know, when God made Adam, he was perfect. Surely. I mean, God made him, so I can't say that he was lacking in any way. But then, when he made Eve, he took part of the perfection out of Adam and created more perfect. That's for y'all women. I ain't going any further. But since this is Mother Day, I want to give you all the praise and honor, because you probably won't get very little out of me the rest of the year. But it's such a special time, and you know, most of us here, if you, I think, we could probably say that and get by with it, our mothers is no longer here. They still exist, just like they was here, but they're not here. So if your mother is here, enjoy her while you can. And it reminds me of that old song, I've got more to go to heaven for than I had yesterday. That's kind of where most of us are, literally. Not just on mothers, but all of our family and friends that have gone up before us, you know. It's going to be a wonderful time when we get to fly away.
Yes, it is.
And I've never flew an airplane. I'm not afraid to fly in one. I just, situation never has come up that I wanted to or needed to. But I'm going to enjoy that flight. And I'd rather take the flight than to be resurrected, if you know what I mean. I'd rather skip that part. But the age I'm getting, the Lord's going to have to make up his mind pretty quick. Or we're going to be going the way of the grave. You got a song for us, Chester? When we got up here and sung this morning, congregation, of course, Teddy been walking around with that cane, which that's wise. Anytime you have an ailment that they tell you to use that, use it. It'd be like going to the doctor and him giving you medicine to get better, and then you take it and just set it up in the medicine cabinet and not use it. Need to use it.
Amen.
But I got to thinking, boy, I hope he's going to be able to make it through there just standing that long. And I'll make this short so you don't have to stand up any longer than you have to. But I thought about asking somebody in the congregation, will y'all come up and hold his cane for him, because he can't hold his guitar in that cane.
I've not got that. It is Mother's Day, and I got to thinking, why don't I pull out a song that was popular back in my mother's day, and they used to sing a song back in that time, and we'll do it this morning. Brother Tony knows it well, probably sing it. Where the roses never fade. Oh, I am going to a city where the streets of gold are paved, and where the tree of life is blooming, and the roses never fade. Here they bloom before a season. Their beauty is
told her, I said, now I'm not gonna keep pushing you unless I have to. I said, but, let's just work it out like this. I know you're gonna sing, so whenever you get ready, let me know. That's fair enough, ain't it? And I won't be asking you no more until the next time. Then talk about doing some old song. This is a mother song. And, you know, this song, no doubt several can relate. What the title of it, I heard my mother call my name in prayer. Now, everybody that has a mother didn't hear their mother calling their name in prayer, you know, and that's sad, but thank God for the ones that was able to hear their mother call their name in prayer. So this song probably older than you.
Whoa.
Maybe not, but it goes a pretty far way back. I don't remember what year it was, really, but it'd be in G, I think. While kneeling by her bedside on her cottage on the hill, my mother prayed her blessings on me there. She was talking then to Jesus while everything was still, and I heard my mother call my name in prayer. Yes, I heard my mother call my name in prayer. She was pouring out her heart to Jesus there. Then I gave my heart to Him, and He saved my soul from sin. For He heard my mother call my name in prayer. She was anxious for her boy to be just what he ought to be, and she asked the Lord to take him in His care. Just the words I can't remember, but I know she prayed for me, for I heard my mother call my name in prayer. Yes, I heard my mother call my name in prayer. She was pouring out her heart to Jesus there. Then I gave my heart to Him, and He saved my soul from sin. For He heard my mother call my name in prayer. Then I gave my heart to Jesus, and am living now for Him. And someday I'll go to meet Him in the air. For He heard my mother praying, and He saved my soul from sin. Yes, He heard my mother call my name in prayer. Yes, I heard my mother call my name in prayer. She was pouring out her heart to Jesus there. Then I gave my heart to Him, and He saved my soul from sin. For He heard my mother call my name in prayer. That's the
This is the first time in my life that the adage stepped in that says, watch your step. I do that right now. Good to be here in the house of the Lord this morning, and thank you for you to be here for Mother's Day, and a very special day, you know, and want to talk about our mothers today. Let's see, Brother Harold, you've got children's church. Go ahead and take the children's down, and I'll Whitney take off there. Brother Harold's got the duty. Sister Jennifer took off to that old evil place called Florida today and everything, and Brother Johnny was telling me him and Tina went and they just literally hated it down there. Thank you for being a house of the Lord this morning. Bear with me this morning and all. I feel sorry for you, Sister Mary. It's all I can say, honey. Sister Mary's going to have this in 2 days and everything. I told Connie, I said, I love Sister Mary, but I'd hate to be in her shoes and everything and all. The title of the message this morning is A Reunion. And the scripture is found in Proverbs 31:10. Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Again, thank you for being here this morning. Brother Barry, good to see my good friend Brother Barry always, and each one of you here this morning. And Solomon asked the question, who could find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. Each time this year, about this time of the year, we set aside one Sunday to commemorate, to honor our mothers and give them special honor. And many of our mothers today are gone, and if you have a mother today, you're blessed. That's here. And, when I think about, when each one of us has our memories of our childhood, when I think of my childhood, Brother ML, I've got to go back into the late 50s and mid-60s, and I just know without doubt some of you weren't here then and all, but Tommy, it was our teenage years back in the late 50s and early 60s. But any time, that you mention the word mother, I don't care how brutish of a man it could be, how ill of a woman it could be, that when they mention the word mother, something melts your heart because of the mother. There's just something about that mother that, Lord, melts your heart that nothing else does. I mean, good father, good children, but that mother. And I think about, when I think about my mother, and again, I have to go back into the 50s and 60s, and, not only that, but I think about where I went to church, Sister Margaret, over on Stanley Street. There was an old church there. Building's still there, not a church today, but I think about, all the families there. The little old building, it didn't have inside bathrooms at that time or even running water, it had potbelly stove, but some of my fondest memories is when I think about that and the families that were there with us. And two things that were in common back then, Betty, was the families were large. I'm talking about large families. And most, as a rule, they were poor families. Two things in common. The families were large. I remember one family, and Sister Benita and I was talking about the other day, that they used to come to our church there where we was at. 21 children. No twins, no triplets, just them, one man, one woman, 21 children. And you imagine buying 21 pairs of Nikes today and everything and stuff. But, the thing that it is, that was so common for us, that we were all kind of in the same lot. And we were a large family, we were poor, and we went to church, and I developed a sense of honor and respect for the people back then, Brother ML. In my family, we moved over here. It's not a stone throw, half a mile away. In 1955, Dad bought 16 acres over here, and we moved over here. And, I still live there. Later on, after the folks died, I bought the place and built another home there. But there was 8 children in our family, 4 boys, 4 girls. And no, everybody did not have an individual bedroom. 4 boys to 1 bedroom, 4 girls to 1 bedroom. Finally, when we did get a bathroom, Brother Barry, 10 people, 1 bathroom. If you could grasp that and all, I don't think 6 bathrooms would be enough for Connie right now and everything and all. I had to throw that in there just for short there. But when I recollect the time that we're in and the families and my family and our family, that It seemed like there was a closeness back then in the families and in the churches. And I'm not saying it's gone, but I'm saying it's not what it used to be. You know, today that even my best friends, their mothers, their fathers was like mothers and fathers to me. There was something that was in the air, if you will, that was special, Dean, that I seen them grow up like we were and we were poor, and how that they loved the Lord and they served God, brought their children. And, you know, I think about one little lady in our church, and she wasn't 4'5" and everything, and you probably don't remember Sister Dishman, but when she died, she had 120 descendants in her family at her funeral that day. One little lady, you know, and I loved her just like a mother. I used to tell her, I said, honey, if I wasn't married, then you'd get married. She said, oh, Brother Teddy, cut that out. You know? But I remember that my friends' mothers, they were like a mother to me. I regarded my mother. And even after time went by and years went by, as they were near the end of their life, I would hug and kiss them and tell them, thank you for living that life in front of me, being that mother. That father figure, even if it wasn't mine, and I had a good father, and I had a good mother too at that time. And the special thing that was about these, that they loved God, and they loved their families in that. As I think about, you know, my family, that 8 children in our family, and I remember, you know, that there come a time in my life that when a relationship with my mom and dad took on a new hold. Brother Jess, I can't explain what it was, but as young people do, I remember that when I got out of high school in '67, Vietnam was raging. I mean, raging bad. And if you were graduating from school, if you didn't go to college, you didn't get married, you were going to get drafted. So I come up with this humdinger thing about 3 months out of school. Well, I'll just join. I'm going to be a Marine, and I'll show the world I'll be tough and all. But during this time span, I didn't know the load that I was taking on, Brother Tommy, and fixing to go to the military. And I seen my mom and my dad, a maternal love that I hadn't seen before. You know, when you've got a child, and that child is fixing to go into harm's way, that maternal love will kick in. Why? Because if you're a good father and you're a good mother, there's something inside, Jennifer, that won't let you go. And it won't let you go at all. And I think about, you know, that maternal love, and even at that time, Bernita, that I didn't realize that maternal love until I had a child, Sister Sue. When you have your own child, it takes on a whole new meaning then in that. And I think about, you know, that I see my mom and dad, that maternal kick in, that maternal love. And when I was putting this message together, I thought about some of the things of my mother, you know, and this is Mother's Day. And I had come home from leave about Christmas time in '67, had 2 weeks, and I was going right straight to Vietnam, and Vietnam was raging bad, children. I remember we was there at home that night, and we watched the news, and on the news that night, you got to go back to Walter Cronkite, Chet Huntley, David Brinkley. If you don't know their names, you're pretty young in life. They were the newscasters at that time. And I remember, you know, 8 Marines got killed as we watched the news. Mama went in and started fixing supper, and Dad had some old records. And if you mention a 78, that's a big record for you young people that don't know what records are. My dad had some old bluegrass gospel, and I was listening to them. And one of the songs I really liked, if, you know, Give Mother My Crown When This Life's Over With. That was a popular bluegrass song then, very popular. And I remember my mom listening to it and what we'd seen on TV, and she hollered in there and said, son, do you have to listen to these graveyard songs. You know, and I remember that maternal love of my mother. Every week in Vietnam, she would write me a letter. And the first couple of letters, you know, I noticed that they were water stained. And I thought, Mom must have been around maybe washing dishes or something. It took me about 3 times to realize that that water stain was her tears. Her tears for her son, me. And always in the letter, Ted, we're praying for you. I'm your mother. I love you. And oh, how precious that was. I think about one day I got a letter from her. She wrote me every week, and she had a picture in the letter that day, and she had a little description on the back of the picture. It says, 2 things, Ted, that I know you love in life. And it was a picture of her and my black truck I'd bought before I went to Vietnam. And I remember that so well. But as time happens, time has changed. You and I today, we're the parents now. We used to be the children. We're the grandparents now. We're the great-grandparents now. Time has changed. Changed a lot. But I think about the words that God gave Moses to write the 10 Commandments 1,300 years before Christ. He said this, the 5th commandment. Honor thy father, thy mother, that thy days may be long on the land which the Lord giveth thee. Children, God has always had a plan for families in his master plan. A good father, a good mother, children. That the children would honor their father and their mother. The parents would raise them according to the principles of the Bible. And children, that was a good plan. That plan's not changed today. God still wants men and women to serve him. And they want them to be good parents, good fathers, and good mothers, and raise their children up in the fear of the Lord today. I think about, you know, that our parents, our people back then, all the families in that church, again, we were a large family, we were poor, but my parents realized something. They realized they needed God, and the families needed God. 70-something years has passed, children. We still need God today. Our families still need God today in the life that we're living, in that. I think about that situation, that culture, and it's changed. Always, you know, when I think about the character of a good mother, I think of that as being a servant. My mom was a servant to her family. And I know your mom was servants to her family, too. I think about, and the culture has changed. Back then, we grew gardens, Sister Dean. Not one garden, 2 gardens. And usually the families had chickens, or they had hogs, or they had milk cows, and pretty well you raised what you eat. And my mom, she canned stuff. I don't think Connie canned stuff sometime and all, but I think she puts it somewhere in a safe deposit box somewhere. If I'm not mistaken, it's not like the old canning was. My mom mended clothes. You don't see that no more. I think about, you know, that mom would can and cook. She was a stay-home mom, and children, how she had meals all the time, Brother James, for the family, day in and day out, and we were that poor and all. But why? Because she had a servant's heart, a mother that served her family in that. This generation has changed, children. About in the mid-'80s, there was a cigarette commercials for a woman that said, "We've come a long way, baby." Yeah, we have, Brother ML, but it's not a good way we've come in that. But I'm saying this morning, children, that What our world needs more now than ever before, children. We don't need more politicians. We don't need more rules and regulations, more taxes. We need good women today, mothers, grandmothers, great-grandmothers that love God and love their families and will fill the gap and stand in the hole that is missing in our society today, because you don't see that in our society today. Yes, our culture has changed, but you still need God in your life, and your family still needs God in their lives. And there's still a heaven and a hell, and there's still eternity before us. I think about 900 years there before Christ, the Bible said, Solomon said, who can find a virtuous woman? What is a virtuous woman? It's a woman that has good character, good morals, that she loves God, and that she seeks God for her family, their needs. And not only that, but that virtuous woman lives by the principles given in the Bible right here. Children, this is God's word. He give men and women, if you're going to be a good father, you're going to be a good mother, you better read the Bible a lot, because the principles there that you live by to be that good father and good mother. And in that, so virtuous, having a good character, a good moral character, as it was then, it still is today, that you meet men and women, mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers that love the Lord. Here's what Solomon said, that their price is a bar above rubies. How, in other words, men and women today that love the Lord, Barry, be good fathers and good mothers, raise them up in the fear of the Lord. The Bible said their price is far above rubies, children. That God looks down and He honors men and women today that will be that good mother, good grandmother, good great-grandma, good father, and raise their children in the fear of the Lord. And that's the great need it is today in the life that we're living in. The message this morning is, and we're talking about a reunion. You can say, Brother Robbins, how does a reunion fit into this Mother's Day thing and all? Because simply, children, as my mom and dad and your folks passed away, if time would go on, we're going to pass away. Some of you are going to be the next generation coming on the scene. It's been happening since the course of time. But the thing about it is, children, as we're in this generation right now, I believe we're coming to near the end of what we know today as the world we live in. And eternity is before us today, children. The Bible tells us that. I can show you in the Bible where it says that we're the last generation, that all things will come to pass before our generation comes to naught, passes away. And because of that, children, you're going to pass into eternity, and I'm going to pass into eternity. Today, right now, over the entire world, men and women are making choices every day about their lifestyle, the life they want to live. But children, men and women, children that choose God, children, there's a payday coming one day soon. And there's going to be a reunion in heaven for God's people, children. And it's going to be rich and real one day, and it's going to be not here on this earth, it's going to be in heaven. I think about, when we were children and even time, we were always playing outside. You don't see that much with children anymore. It's video games. But late in the evening, how many times I heard it said, Mom would open the screen door and holler out, "You children, come on in. It's supper time." Children, there's going to be a supper time in heaven pretty soon. If you read verses in chapter 19 of Revelation, the Bible talks about called the marriage supper of the Lamb. When at the end comes that God's men and women, fathers and mothers, grandmothers, children, are going to gather around the throne, and the Heavenly Father is going to say, it's supper time in heaven. Come and feast on the good things I prepared for you because you've loved me. You raised your family, you served me, and you had your families to serve God. And children, let me say this real quick. God keeps good records, children. God keeps good records. He knows the life that you're living right now. He knows where you're standing in your position with Him today. And children, just as it was then, there's going to be a supper time in heaven. The thing about it is today, children, you know, my folks, you know, they've been going about 30-something years, and Connie asked me last night, she said, Ted, would you like to talk to your mom and dad? And I said, I sure would, but not in this world. I want a reunion to happen. I want a reunion to heaven. I wouldn't bring them back for nothing in that, Barry. But children, I know when I read there's going to be a reunion in heaven one day. Men and women that serve God, fathers and mothers, that raised their children in the fear of the Lord, that taught them and brought them up right. You say, Brother Robbins, things has changed so much today. It ain't like it used to be. No, it's not. But there's still God in the heaven, and He's not changed. And His Son said, for I'm the Lord, and I change not. And children, for men and women that will choose God, choose life, choose good, choose blessing, God's going to put His favor on that family, their lives. Yes, you're going to have problems. Yes, one day sickness will come. Yes, one day we'll depart and we'll die. But children, when we get to that reunion in heaven one day, children, the Bible said there's no more dying up there. Children, that there's no more pain and there's no more parting up there. And we'll be feasting with the Lord for eternity in the new heaven and the new earth and the new Jerusalem. And children, yes, I did. You know, when I look back, and Father and me and Connie talk a lot about, you know, when she was raising her children and the things that she had to do to bring food on the table and all, it's changed quite a bit. Children, I can't undo. Maybe you're a mother and you say, Brother Robbins, I got some bad things in my past. Well, here's a song that says, turn around. Turn around. God's calling you from a life of wasted years. For the mothers and grandmothers and great-grandmothers, children, you forget the past. You focus on today. Maybe I failed my children, but I'm not going to anymore. I'm going to serve God. And I'm going to pray for them every day. And I'm going to witness to them. And I'm going to encourage them to come to the house of the Lord, because I want to go to a reunion in heaven one day. It's only going to be God's people in heaven at that great supper time in heaven. Children, don't you want to go there one day when this life's over with? It is Mother's Day, and Connie's got a few things she wanted, and before we turn it over, and once your mothers leave, she's got so many things gathered here for you, and I thought, she don't spend no fathers like that. I don't know. But she's got them for you, and she wants to say some thoughts for you. Come on, Connie, if you would, and all.
Happy Mother's Day. Ted asked me to get a poem, and I was looking this morning for a poem, and I couldn't find the words that I wanted in a poem. And you know, you have a lot of friends in this life, but you have two best friends, and that's the Lord and your mother. And you can go to your mom. She may not can fix the problem, but she sure can make you feel better, no matter what the situation is. And there's just a connection there that, you know, that's her love, like Tony said earlier, her love is next to the Lord's love. And, you know, I don't know how you would not love your mother. I just don't understand that. But anyway, with that, I looked up some verses and put them together that represent a mother And it says the meaning of these scriptures for mothers. Proverbs 31:25-28. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. She opened her mouth with wisdom, and in her tongue is the law of kindness. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed, her husband also, and he praiseth her. This represents a mother clothed with strength and dignity, speaking with wisdom and kindness, faithfully caring for her home, and being honored by her family. That's what we're supposed to do with our mother, is to love them and honor them. Proverbs 31:30. Favor is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a woman that feareth the Lord, she shall be praised. This represents the lasting beauty of a mother's godly character. Her reverence for the Lord is what deserves praise. Exodus 20:12. Honor thy father and thy mother, that thy days may be long upon the land which the Lord thy God giveth thee. This represents God's command that mothers be honored through respect, gratitude, and care, along with the promise of blessings. Ephesians 6:1-3. Children, obey your parents in the Lord, for this is right. Honor thy father and mother, which is the first commandment with promise, that it may be well with thee, and thou mayest live long on the earth. And this represents the importance of children obeying and honor their parents in the Lord, recognize motherhood as part of God's design for the family. Isaiah 66:13. As one who his mother comforteth, so will I comfort you, and you shall be comforted in Jerusalem. A mother's comfort as a picture of God's own comfort, tender, steady, and deeply reassuring. 2 Timothy 1:5. When I call to remembrance the unforeign faith that is in thee, which dwelt first in thy grandmother Lois and thy mother Eunice, and I persuaded that in these also. A mother's spiritual legacy, sincere faith, lived at home and passed down from generation to generation. Psalms 127:3. Lo, children are an heritage of the Lord, and the fruit of the womb is his reward. And this represents children as God's gift and trust, motherhood as a sacred stewardship and a blessing from the Lord. What a blessing it is to have a child, and to love that child, and to nurture that child, and to teach that child. Psalms 139:13-14. For thou hast possessed my reins, thou hast covered me in my mother's womb. I will praise thee, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Marvelous are thy works, and that my soul knoweth right well. This represents the wonder of God forming life in the womb, affirming the value of every child and the sacredness of a mother's role. Luke 1:46-49. A mother said, My soul doeth magnify the Lord. My spirit hath rejoiced in God my Savior, for he hath regarded the lowest estate of his handmaiden. For behold, for henceforth all generations shall call me blessed. For he that is mighty hath done to me great things, and holy is his name. This represents Mary's example of humble worship, receiving God's calling when gratitude and pointing all honor to him. John 3:1-4. I have no greater joy than to hear that my child walk in truth. A mother's greatest joy, seeing her child walk in truth, growing in faithful and godly lives. We all want to see our children in the house of God. We want to see them all saved, knowing that they're living for the Lord. And the world has a lot to offer them anymore. 1 Corinthians 13:4-7. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, doeth not behave itself unseemingly, seeking not her own. It is not easily provoked, thinking no evil, rejoicing not in iniquity, but rejoicing in the truth. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, and endure all things. The kind of love mothers are called to reflect, patient, kind, enduring, and faithful through every season. My mom's been gone 7, 8 years, and I told Ted the other day I'd give anything to just sit down and have a cup of coffee with her. That was our thing, was drinking coffee and talking. And you can't ever replace that. And if you have your mother here, you need to cherish her every single day. And Tony said earlier, you know, my mom's with me, she's just in my heart. You know, they never leave us, they're like the Lord. They never leave us and they never forsake us. But they are a precious, precious commodity in our life, and we need to treasure them every single day. And that's what I have. I do have baskets or bags for everybody, and everybody's going to get a flower. So don't leave without one.
Let's see. Brother Stormy, come up if you would. Brother Tommy, can you help us with this? Just pass these out to all the ladies right there. And while they're doing, come right up there and make sure all the ladies get their baskets. You better make sure Sister Sue gets one, Brother Tommy. Thank you for being with us this morning. I want to remind you while they're getting ready and passing these things out, Lacey, help her, Harold, if you'll help them, I appreciate it.
Just give all the ladies one.
Next Sunday, we will be having a luncheon after church, but we'll be having a group of singers called the Daltons here next Sunday morning. They'll be taking the entire service, so come be with us next Sunday. The Daltons, they've been with us. You will be blessed. They are good singers, talented, and they will bless your heart and bless your soul. And remember that. Also come, the ladies are preparing a beautiful luncheon. Right after that, we'll be having a luncheon downstairs. We will not be having church tonight, so the night service canceled. It is Mother's Day, and you mothers are going to get all these beautiful gifts, and they're probably going to take you to the steakhouse too and eat with you and everything for that and all, and how much we love and appreciate you and everything and all. Thank you, Brother Tommy. Thank you for helping us there, brother. Tammy, did you get one, honey? Okay. Thank you today.
Renee, I want you to take Susie and Paula one. Who else is not here that?
Jennifer gets one, yeah.
We got Jennifer's.
Yeah.
You can take your mom one if you want. Okay. Anybody else? Pam. Pam. Well, Betty, will you see Pam? Yeah, she needs two. Rebecca needs two. And 2 flowers. And then you can take this one to Betty for Pam. Betty, take it to Betty for Pam. And who else needs one? Is that everybody?
Brother James back there, brother.
Who? Lois Dalton. Anybody else that didn't get one that would like to take one to somebody? I have plenty. You want one for your mom? Did Joe get one? Joe and Jay are left.
Thank you for being with us this morning, and as we get ready to dismiss and all, remember our announcements. I'm going to ask Brother M.L. to stand and pray a good prayer for our mothers, our church mothers today, and how much we appreciate and love you this morning, how special you are. Brother M.L., give us a good closing. Pray for our church mothers, if you would, this morning.